It's that time of year again, Christmas. Some of us look forward to it. Some of us don't look forward to it so much. I'm one of those people that doesn't really look forward to Christmas that much. And it's not because I don't like Christmas, I don't enjoy Christmas. It's because Christmas no longer carries the spirit that it once carried. Not for me anyway. I'm 61 years old. I was born in 1964. For the first 10 years of my life, I lived on a little island in the Aegean. I'm Greek by birth. Until my parents decided to immigrate to Australia. Christmas to me back then was a time when family and friends got together and they shared a meal, they shared conversation, they shared a couple of drinks. The children got together and played with one another, not on PlayStations, not on Xboxes, outside, running around the neighborhood, playing, doing things that children are supposed to do. It was a happy time. Nobody got drunk to the point where trouble started. And the food that we shared was wholesome, organic, good food, painstakingly cooked by our grandmothers, our mothers. The adults were constantly aware that there were children around, so they made sure that the examples they set were good for the children. And I remember being taught even in school that Christmas, my parents as well, and my grandparents, but in school as well, that Christmas was a time of giving. It wasn't about how much you could get. It wasn't about how much you could receive. That there was more joy in giving, especially to those who needed something desperately, than there was in receiving something from somebody. One of the things we used to do as children is we used to get dressed up in the best clothes we could find on Christmas Eve, take a little triangle and a tambourine and maybe a little bell, and get about 5-6 kids together, and we go door to door, knocking on people's doors, and as soon as they open their doors, we'd start singing, and this is late into the night, we'd start singing Christmas carols to them. We didn't do it for money, we didn't do it for recognition, we didn't do it for prestige, we did it because we liked to see the smiles on people's faces when they opened their door and we started singing to them. And at the end of the song, if the people were in a position to be able to give something, it would be not money, but it would be in the form of a home-cooked, homemade biscuit or some kind of other sweet. Not a lot, just one each. They wished us a Merry Christmas, and we were on our way to the next house. I remember the nativity scene under our Christmas tree was made by my father out of plaster of Paris. It was a beautiful nativity scene. He painstakingly made that with his own hands. And he made the mold out of sand, and then he poured the plaster of Paris into it. And when it was dried, he pulled it out and he painted it and he decorated it and he made a beautiful nativity scene. And we used to poke a tree into it. That was the base for the Christmas tree. It wasn't a very big Christmas tree, only about 3 foot high. A few lights, a few little balls hanging off it. And the highlight for me was the fiberglass snow that we used to put on it. You know that stuff that looks like wool and you drape it over the Christmas tree? Because when the lights came on, it used to shine. It used to make, it acted like fiber optics, and it was absolutely beautiful. That was my highlight, that fiberglass snow that we used to put over the Christmas tree. Fiberglass wool snow. It was pretty much the same situation when we came to Australia. Every Christmas was a time to look forward to. You'd go to the shops and the shops were decorated. I remember Grace Brothers in Sydney being decorated. The windows had big nativity scenes in them. Every counter in the shop was decorated with Christmas decorations. The whole shop had this atmosphere of Christmas about it. The streets were decorated. People's houses were decorated. Not trying to outdo the neighbour on how many lights they had on their house, just decorated to show that, to acknowledge the fact that it was Christmas. And slowly all that disappeared. Christmas became something that focused on materialism. We no longer focused on the true spirit of Christmas. We started to focus on the materialistic side of Christmas. How much can we get? What is the most expensive present we could get? If we're going to get money, how much money are we going to get? People stopped going to each other's house just to get together and have a gathering, a family gathering, and they started going to each other's house just to receive the gifts and then be on their way to the next house so they can go and get more gifts from somewhere else. I'm sorry, we can't stay very long. We're only here for about an hour and a half, and then we've got to be on our way because we've got to go and see this person, that person, that person. Do the rounds, trying to collect as much as they can, fill the car with presents, and go home and start opening them. Then you've got the issue with the kids. You know, you hand them a present and you watch the excitement in their face until they open it. And they realize that it isn't what they wanted. And the look on their face changes. It becomes totally different. It becomes a look of dissatisfaction, disappointment that they didn't get what they expected to get. No consideration of the fact that you may not have been able to buy what they wanted because you didn't have the money, you were in a difficult financial situation, your health was playing up, you didn't have the time to get to the shops, to do the shopping that everyone expected you to do, whatever the reason, right? So you give something to these kids and the look of disappointment on their face just ruins that moment for you. As a grandparent, as a parent, as an uncle, an auntie. These days they're not happy with a pair of socks, with a sweater, with a t-shirt, with a pair of pants. They're not happy with something ordinary. They have to get an iPad, they have to get an Xbox, they have to get the latest video games, they have to get the latest phones. And if you give him money, the expectation is several $100s, not just $50 or $20 or whatever. We would have been happy back in my day with $5. That would have been ideal for us. No, not today. Not today. A little Marianne expects a Pandora bracelet and a charm to go on it every year after that. Johnny expects an Xbox. Mikey is expecting a mobile phone, and not just any mobile phone. It's got to be the top of the range mobile phone. You want to buy them clothes? Not good enough unless they're brand names, unless they've got a label attached to them. If it's not Reebok, Nike, Adidas, or some other funky brand, they're not happy with it. In many cases, they'll refuse to wear it. Then there's the adults. Okay? So here we are, we get together in a family situation. It's Christmas. We all congregate together. It's supposed to be a day of sharing some food, sharing a couple of drinks or a glass of something. It's not about eating to the point where we're throwing up or drinking to the point where we can't stand anymore. But that's what it becomes. And the example we're setting for the kids that are present in that moment, in that environment, is not a good one. When there's 8 adults in that Christmas setting and 7 of them are plastered, what kind of example is that setting for the young ones? What is it teaching them? They're obviously going to follow the same route. They're going to go down the same path later in life because they see it as normal. Why can't we have fun on Christmas? Why can't we celebrate Christmas without being drunk, without being under the influence of alcohol, without being gluttons, overeating, over drinking, overindulging in all sorts of things that we shouldn't overindulge in? Then you have the young ones. You have a setting where, a whole lot of people in the family are sitting around a table. And the young ones today won't go and sit with each other and have a conversation or have a play. They won't interact with one another. If they do interact with one another, they're doing it through the mobile phone. They might be sitting across a table from one another, but they're talking to each other on the mobile phone. There's no eye contact, no face-to-face interaction, no conversation. Or they'll sit there staring at their phones. They'll even leave the table, they'll leave the gathering, and they'll go and sit in a car somewhere in the hot sun rather than sit with the rest of the people in that Christmas gathering. This is what Christmas has become. So, husbands would rather go out with their friends than be with their families. Wives would rather go out with their girlfriends or whoever else than be with their husbands or their families. People are more attracted to a club setting on Christmas rather than a family setting at home because the alcohol flows at the club and the conversation is full of bullshit. It is the time of the year when we find the excuse, any excuse, to become absolutely, totally inebriated. And what does that do? It brings out the asshole in every single one of us. And when you bring out the asshole in you, it starts problems. How many relationships have been ruined as a result of such a gathering around Christmas time? How many people have got drunk, started issues, got up angry, got in their cars, put their families in the car under the influence of alcohol, got on the road, had an accident, either killed or maimed somebody else or themselves or their families? How many people lose their licenses over Christmas? How many people do stupid things because they've lost their inhibitions thanks to alcohol? All sorts of things happen. All because we cannot say, we're going to sit here like human beings and we're going to enjoy this time, which is the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. It's not our birthday, it's his birthday. We're going to honor him by having a sensible meal, a get together with family. We're going to go over the past year's events. We're going to make amends for the wrongs that we did, and we're going to make a promise to ourselves and to others that we will not repeat those mistakes in the coming year. Instead, we get to the point where all our inhibitions are gone. Thanks to the drink, we now become absolute assholes. We do things that we would not normally do if we weren't under the influence. And we stop talking to family members. We alienate ourselves from friends. Our relationships turn sour. All during a time when everything is supposed to come together, bring us closer together. Instead, it pushes us apart. Why? Because of the fucking alcohol. Because of the expectation of materialism. How many kids go to school after Christmas and without thinking one little bit will sit in amongst other kids, and they know that this kid over here on their right side or their left side hasn't got as much as they have. They didn't get what they got, because here they are explaining what they got, how much they got, all the gifts that they received, and this other child is sitting down. They may have only got a pencil case and a bunch of color pencils. They now feel compelled to lie in order to be able to fit in with the crowd. Or they sit there feeling like shit because everybody else got all these beautiful things and they got fuck all. And believe me, there's a lot of kids out there who get fuck all for Christmas. They'd be happy with a freaking donut on Christmas Day. They'd be happy with $10 on Christmas Day. Good old Santa Claus isn't always kind to everyone. Sometimes he forgets. It's disappointing for a lot of children. Very disappointing. Because they don't understand what they did wrong. They don't understand why. This kid that did a lot more bad things than they did got all these beautiful things, and they didn't do half the bad things that this other kid did, and they got stuff all. How unfair is that? So these are my reasons. These are my reasons for not actually getting excited around about this time of the year. There's no Christmas tree in my house this year. There hasn't been for a few years. There's no presents stacked under it. I only ask for one thing every Christmas: that the people I love show me some respect, give me some of their time without constraints. That's all I wish for. And that I can see them prospering in the next year, doing something with themselves, constructive, following a decent path. That's all I want. It's not much to ask for, and it doesn't cost anything. until Christmas goes back to what it used to be once upon a time, until the true essence of Christmas makes a comeback, I'm afraid I won't be getting excited around this time of the year. Call me a Grinch, call me anything you like, but this is my stand. You may not agree with it, but that's your prerogative. So thank you for watching, and let me know what you think. Do you think Christmas has become a materialistic, totally material time of year? Do you think that all the true essence of Christmas has gone out the window? Do you remember Christmas being different when you were a child? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas to you.